All right. Hello, everybody. Happy seventh day of September 2021. Today is an extremely exciting day where we currently are, which is El Salvador. There has been a huge announcement made today. I think many of you know what that is because you've been seeing the emails. You're on this webinar here. But as of today, September 7th, Bitcoin becomes legal tender here in El Salvador. And I am here in country with my team members in an area called Gran Zonte, which is known as Bitcoin Beach. It's been really exciting to witness over the last few days, as the country has been preparing for this to be able to start accepting Bitcoin countrywide. And we know it's going to be there'll be a transitionary period for it, but where we're currently located in Gran Zonte, they've actually been taking Bitcoin for the last 2 years. So now the rest of the country of El Salvador is catching up. But I see folks are logged in here and are continuing to log in. Feel free to find that Q&A section of your control panel. Let us know where it is you're calling in from. I'm going to read just a couple of those out loud. Sometimes I know it takes a minute or two for people to get connected and hear me and at least be able to find that Q&A section. So find that Q&A section, folks. Let us know where it is you are calling in from. We have Sophia in Florida. We have Martin in Netherlands. We have Kamal in the UK. We have David in Louisville, Kentucky. Stephen is in Austin. Edward is in Ecuador. Leslie Bennett is in Nicaragua. James is in Valrico, Florida. Alan in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Canada is where James at. Phoenix, Springfield, Missouri. We have JP in Mexico. Neil in New York. I'm seeing AC, Ambergris Key, Florida, Ireland, Mexico, Costa Rica, South Dakota, UK, Finland, Norway, Mexico, UK, Canada, London, Canada, Mexico, but Panamanian residents, New Jersey. All right, there are people from all over the place. And I just wanted to read a couple of those out loud before we jumped in here. So I'm going to take a step back and introduce our co-host, Mike Cobb. Mike is the CEO of ECI Development and is going to give you a bit more information about this amazing country of El Salvador. And then we're going to jump into a brand new opportunity for all of you to hear about, which I'm really excited. There's been a lot of work going on the back end, and just to see it all come to life is exciting. So with that, Mike, the floor is yours.
Wonderful. Rachel, thank you. And I know we're going to be catching back up with you a little bit as we move into the webinar. You and Patrick and Michael Beta are down there right now on the property. It is exciting. And you know what? You mentioned that this is a historic day, and it really is a historic day because for the first time ever, a country has gone transactional with a cryptocurrency, and this day will be remembered. It is the beginning of something very, very special in the Bitcoin community, and we are just so happy that everybody could join us today to hear about it and maybe be a part of it with us. I'll tell a little story. We were speaking at the Bitcoin conference back in June, and we were approached by a gentleman who you're going to meet later, Mike Peterson, who's been going down to El Zonte for about 15 years, has done a tremendous amount of work, started something called the Hope House in El Zonte, and has really been engaged in that community for a long time. And he approached me and said, hey, I see ECI. I like what you guys are doing. I did a little research on you. I have a beautiful piece of property right in El Zonte. Would you guys be interested in helping me develop it? And this was June. I mean, this was just literally 2.5 months ago. And I said, well, yeah, sure. Let's talk about it. So we did. We talked about it. We sent some information back and forth, and it really came together very quickly. And so one of the things we're going to talk about today is why we were able to, as a company, come to this opportunity and bring it to you so quickly. Because that really is an important piece of the puzzle. We're going to talk a little bit about El Salvador and the Bitcoin happening there and the transactional piece, because obviously that's the exact reason we're all here today. But we're going to dig into it a little bit more. And then we're going to meet some other folks, some special guests. I do want to thank some of our existing property owners and shareholders who are with us on this webinar today. And I do want to mention one thing, that if you're an ECI shareholder, if you're one of the shareholders of our company, you will have a 48-hour advance notice of property coming available. That is your right as a shareholder, and you will get that. but we're not ready to talk specifically about product today. We're going to be talking about the concept. We're going to be talking about what we're launching and what this tourism community, this tourism village, this Bitcoin community is going to be all about. And so without anything further, we're going to jump right into. I know we have people standing by on property, and I want to make sure we get to them and you guys can see them, and they're going to be sticking around later to answer questions as well. So, the thing that's important to understand is it's easy to talk about doing something, right? It's pretty easy to create a marketing program. It's a lot harder to actually deliver the reality, right? To actually build a community. And we've been doing this now for 25 years. We just entered our 25th year of business this month. And because we've been doing it so long, we understand how to do it. We do it well. And that really boils down to people, because, business plans are great, right? And you have to have a plan. You have to have a map, a roadmap. How do you get from point A to point B? But at the end of the day, it's people that really deliver. It's people that make the difference. People take a business plan and they execute it, and they turn it into real world stuff. And I just want to assure you that we have an incredible leadership team. These are the leaders of our company. My business partner, Joel Nagle, and I started this business 25 years ago. People like Rachel have been with us for 8 or 9 years. Val here has been with us for 16 years. Many of our people have been with us a decade or more. And we've built a company that knows how to deliver community, to deliver something that's very, very important to you if you decide you want to own a home in the El Zonte tourism Gran Zonte community. So again, it's always about the people. We have a great company, and this is the reason we were able to take a concept just 2.5 months ago and bring it forward today to say, hey, we're going to time this. We're going to bring it online. We're going to help you be a part of something historic. If you decide you want to own a home, a tiny home, one of the condominiums that we're going to be bringing forward as well, you will be a part of history. And this is exciting. And to be able to do that for you, with you, is incredible. And we're just so happy that this opportunity presented itself and that we were ready to act and bring it forward. El Salvador has been a great country to do business for many, many years. It's been an investment, a lot of foreign investment, a lot of manufacturing has been there. Many good reasons. No capital gains tax. The real estate is very, very affordable. And for folks who love to surf, which is what took Mike Peterson there many years ago, and thousands of people like Mike, the surfing is incredible. The Pacific waters are warm, and so you can get in those waters and you can surf for hours and hours. It is absolutely spectacular. And then obviously the reason we're on this webinar today, September 7th, is today is the day that Bitcoin has become legal tender in the country. Some beautiful pictures of the surfing, but also just how transactional Bitcoin is. Rachel, you mentioned that Mike Peterson introduced Bitcoin about two and a half years ago into the town of El Zonte in a transactional means. And he's going to explain more about that. We're going to go to him a little bit later, and he's going to talk about that. But it's really important to understand that Bitcoin has been transactional for this community for 2.5 years. And now the government, the national government of El Salvador, is making it transactional as well. Again, very, very exciting times. El Salvador, it's a fairly small country, but very, very powerfully economically. And this extra added juice to the mix is going to be incredible for the country and truly take it to the next level. As we all know, we if you're on this webinar, you absolutely understand the power of Bitcoin and what this means transformatively for this country, for this economy going forward. And we're very excited to be a part of it. Bitcoin, there it is, introduced in 2019 by Mike Peterson there. And this is actually El Zonte. This is a picture of El Zonte. And it became transactional very quickly for a lot of reasons. And again, we're going to get to Mike and maybe make sure he can tell the story a little bit better, a lot better than I can actually. So here we are. This is the country of El Salvador on the left. The yellow, what is that, hexagon? The yellow hexagon indicates the location of El Zonte. If you look just up and to the right a little bit, you can see a white splotch. That is actually the capital of San Salvador. El Zonte is less than 1 hour to the capital of El Salvador, and the airport is less than an hour along the coast to the east, or to the east. The property itself, as you can see, is centrally located. The town of El Zonte runs along the coast. It kind of comes up two valleys. This property sits up on a hill, and you're going to see these pictures in just a minute. I'm crossing my fingers that we're going to be able to get Patrick on here in just a second. Patrick, I hope you're here and you can hear me. We're going to cut to you, and we're going to get you on here to talk a little bit about what's going on there at the property today. So, Patrick, if you're there, take it away, please. Well, I don't know, maybe not. Well, Rachel, you're muted. I don't know if you're trying to say something or not. The technical difficulties of working this out.
Hey, Mike, thanks for the introduction. As you can see behind me, well, I can see in front of me, wherever you're looking, I'm on the Gran Zonte property right now. It's beautiful, and to be honest, these videos and pictures just don't do it justice. There is no bad spot on this property. Every spot has a beautiful view of the ocean and the forest, the lush green around us. It's just a spectacular spot. So it's pretty exciting to be here today. It's a big day in my mind, for the world. With a non-governmental controlled currency, it's just something amazing for this country and for the world in general as this expands across other countries. But really, Bitcoin Beach here, and the beach is just down there and by the water, or just a short ways from it. And that it's really setting the trend here, and it's an amazing thing to be part of this. And running into a lot of Bitcoin people here in town over the last couple of days of hanging out here, and just looking forward to everything here. I'm standing kind of roughly where on our plans we have kind of the eco-chic homes. I mean, the entire development is going to be eco-friendly, with the solar-powered hybrid systems for all the properties, and gray water reuse and a lot of green roof type of applications and things like that. So it's going to be a very beautiful community that blends in with the really beautiful surroundings. So I'm looking forward to that. We're just going to kind of set up a little table, have some wine and cheese here, and enjoy the afternoon. It's probably about 25 degrees here Celsius, which is a nice temperature. Probably that's, I don't know, around 79, 80 degrees, something like that in Fahrenheit. And so I'm just really gonna have a relaxed time here and enjoy the afternoon while the webinar is going on, and enjoy listening to everybody else talking about it. And later on we'll be back in town and buy some Coca-Colas and pupusas and things with sats or Bitcoin, and just it's just a pretty cool thing to be part of this whole event. So glad to be part of the webinar. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Well, Patrick, thank you. And I guess there are some time delays here, so we're going to have to be conscious of that as we move from where I am in Shepherdstown, West Virginia, to El Zonte, El Salvador, and I think we've got our Belize team kind of running this webinar in the background. So we're working across 3 countries right now, but that's okay. I mean, that's actually fantastic, and it is working. So just bear with us as we move from one country to another. Patrick, I'm jealous. You're going to be hanging out, having some wine and cheese there, but I know you've got a couple special guests. I think you've got Mr. Berwick there and Lucy. Lucy's the special guest, of course. So I hope that later we'll be able to get you and Jeff and Lucy back on as well. So let's see. I kind of want to move into a little bit of the concept launch, because at the end of the day, again, we've moved very quickly to get where we are right now. And at the end of the day, it's going to be an incredible tourism village, and we don't have it all figured out yet, but we've got it started. We've got the concept, and I want to move into what the concept is. Again, you can see from some of these pictures, this, in fact, the picture there was taken a few weeks ago when I was there with our engineering team to actually look at the site to make sure that what we envisioned was possible, given maps and topography, things like that, was actually physically possible to deliver. The property is hilly. And what that means is every home, every condo, every address will have an incredible ocean view. This is part of the site planning. But again, what you can do on paper isn't always what you can do when you get to the land. And so we had our engineering team there. In fact, Val Espinosa, one of our VPs, is there right now as well. And we're going to hear from her later. I think she actually is probably down in El Zonte. They're going to do maybe a coffee transaction with Bitcoin later. I think she just wanted a coffee, but we'll get to her. But what we know now, because again, we took our engineers there and we've refined the site plan, is that the site plan that I'm about to show you and actually have Rachel talk about just a little bit does work from an engineering standpoint. And it is absolutely spectacular. We're excited about it. And in fact, maybe this is a good time to get you back on the phone, Rachel. I don't know if you can actually see a screen and talk about it at the same time or not. But let's see if we can get you on, and then we'll have you talk a little bit about the site plan and the community. And
hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this really exciting announcement. As you've heard today, September 7th is the day that Bitcoin becomes legal tender here in El Salvador. We are scouting the property. We have been really excited to present this opportunity to you. I wanted to give you a little bit of an experience of boots on the ground, see what it's like. I know Patrick and Mike Beta were giving you some examples too, but we just finished walking up to the top part of the property and wanted to give you a perspective from up here. As you can see around me, you have incredible views of the Pacific. It's just a truly stunning property, and I was just saying how pictures and videos really don't do it justice. You need to be here in person, see what it looks like, experience it. It's green, it's lush, it's stunning, and best of all, you have these really incredible views. We'll be keeping you posted as we get more developments happening here on ground. There are going to be a variety of communities, from the tiny homes to the luxury condos, home sites, casitas, a large variety of options for you, and hopefully you decide to call Bitcoin Beach home here at Gran Zonte. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Rachel. Rachel, you're not done. Hey, Rachel.
I'm here. I was just saying I'm going to turn my video off because it is a little choppy there, and
yeah, okay.
The picture I don't think was too great. So I'm going to stay on off video, but okay. I do want to go through the site map with everybody. I think that there's just a spectacular community that is planned here at the Gran Zonte. It's about 44 acres in total, and where I'm standing is at the top part. If you look at the map here on the screen, it's the right side. That's the top part of the property, and then it slopes down as it is on a hill, as Mike mentioned. I know I was a little winded there, but we did make it up to the top of the hill, and it just truly is stunning. And I do hope that everybody has the chance to come down in person and see it, because it is even much better in person. So at the top part, so if you look on the right-hand side of your screen, that's where you'll find luxury condos. Note that this is the top. Oh, can you go back just one more slide there? Yep, go back.
Tiny homes?
Go back. One more. I'm going to stay on the site map for a second.
Sure.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Yep.
So at the top part, we have the luxury condos. That is the highest part of the property. So there, we only need those condos to be a couple of stories for you to have views looking out over everything. There you have the convenience of a pool and restaurant right there on site. As we continue down the property line, as we continue to the left, you see the eco chic homes. These are casita style homes. Do note that they will, these homes and tiny homes and casitas and the earth and bed homes will all have solar features and really geared towards being an eco-sustainable community. We continue on where we have the apartments there. So they will be condos. And then as we continue on tiny homes, we have a few different models that we're working on the plans for. And then as you make your way down to the bottom left-hand side, you see the earth and bed units. And these are probably some of my favorite concepts that we have so far. They're villas that are embedded into the earth, and you essentially have tiers of properties and tiers of villas. And when you're at the top, you're able to stand actually on the green space, which will be the roof of the house that's below you, because you do have this hill concept. You have a hill there. So you have this tiered concept of the embedded. And then I do want to highlight a couple of the features at this property that make it really unique. One of my favorite parts about this is the entertainment center. There'll be an NFT for those who follow the NFTs, a non-fungible token entertainment center, a Bitcoin museum, and then also, this is great, an exercise powered mining center. So as you are working out and on the treadmill or on the elliptical, you will essentially be mining for Bitcoin, which is really quite neat. And then other neat concepts like a Bitcoin micro loan bank. I do want to note that you do not have to be in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in order to live within this community. But what we've really noticed is there is a huge community of Bitcoiners and crypto folks who want to come together, but just don't simply have the space for that. So who knows, if you're not in crypto now, maybe at some point you will be. If not, that's okay too. But do know that there are going to be these different places here for you within the property. And then as we continue on, there'll be the gardens, a central park area, playground for the kids, and natural pool down as we get closer to the left-hand side, an artisan market. There'll also be areas for food trucks, amphitheaters, common areas. So it really is a place for people to come together and then share that like-minded interest that we are seeing across the board. And I do have to say, it's really been a spectacular feel here in El Zonte, where you walk down the street and there are all of these little stores on the side of the road, pupuserias and convenience stores. And you see big signs that say Bitcoin accepted. Now, note that it's Bitcoin and US dollar that are the legal tender here. So again, it's not exclusive to Bitcoin, but it is really neat to see the option is here. And, for those who follow crypto, and you may see that, you may think Bitcoin is the future, crypto is the future. And this is a spot where you're able to pay with your Bitcoin and really be amongst other people who feel the same. So just remember that the top part of the property line is on the right-hand side. That's where the luxury condos are. Then there'll be those home sites that follow along the side of the property there, along the perimeter of the property, heading down towards the tiny homes and the earth and bed condos. Let's continue on to the next slide here, please.
Okay.
Awesome. So you're going to see here, oh, there we go, the tiny homes. So there are a few different models that we are working on. You're going to see a variety of them. As Mike mentioned, this is really a concept webinar. We wanted to share with you what's going on. We've had a lot of people over time expressing interest to us of paying for real estate, owning real estate with crypto. So we're in the concept stages now. It is going to take a few weeks for us to get everything finalized, but I do want to reiterate here how the homes are going to look. And do note that the homes are, some of them are on more of a hilly area than others. So the houses will be prepared for that. You'll see that in future renderings as they are distributed. But I think some of my favorite parts about these homes, the stairs going in are just really fun and funky. And then towards the top part of the property, or to the top part of the tiny home, you have the windows, so you have ample amount of light coming in. And then my favorite part definitely is the plunge pool, though. I think that's pretty neat. It's a neat way to enjoy, the spectacular views. It really is that $1 million view right there from the comfort of your home. So you'll see a lot of windows integrated into the construction. And then as we continue on with sending out floor plans and final models, you'll see that each nook and cranny really is properly utilized to ensure that we're using the space as best as possible. Tiny homes are no new feature for us. It's something that we've been building over the last couple of years in Belize and Nicaragua, and soon in Panama, and also in Honduras, and now here in El Salvador. So tiny homes are great for people who want to reduce their carbon footprint, who want property here in the country, but maybe you don't necessarily, or don't want to, or don't need to spend $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 in order to own and have those beautiful views. So let's continue to the next slide.
The next slide, you'll see a couple of renderings about the luxury condos. Again, these are really at the top part of the property. So you'll have just incredible views going out all the way to the Pacific. You see the rolling waves in the distance, and we'll keep you all posted as we continue on with the development of these. But I just want to keep reiterating that these are not final. These are the concepts, but we will keep everybody posted over the next few weeks as finals are ready. And if this is something that you are interested in, then there is a reservation process where you can put your name on the first right of selection list. It's $2,500 to be on that, or the equivalent in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero. And through that list, there will be 50, when we get everything finalized, then we'll go out to the shareholders first. They'll have 48 hours. And then the folks on the first right of selection list, the first 50 folks on that list will get the information. They'll have 48 hours to decide what they're thinking. And then we'll go to the next group of 50, the next group of 50, the next group of 50. So I expect this all really to transpire over the next month, where we'll be able to send out final floor plans and pricing and all of that sort of information. But if you would like to at least be on the first look list, this is a great chance to do so. It's a refundable deposit of $2,500 or the equivalent in Bitcoin if you decide not to move forward. So it's quite low risk to be part of the real true first Bitcoin community here in El Zonte.
Hey, Rachel, just kind of lay out what you anticipate the timeline being. I know you've said a few weeks, a couple weeks, but if you can be a little more specific, that might be helpful. And look, and I want to put the big disclaimer. We don't know. We're working with architects. We're working with engineers. Val and her team met with some engineers yesterday, today. Again, they are working through the process there to lay stuff out, as quickly as possible to get, the actual, floor plans and other things that are absolutely required, the sales paperwork, the whole package. But do you have a timeline in mind, Rachel, that people could have some expectation that if they go ahead and make a deposit, again, it is a refundable deposit. If they go ahead and make a deposit, what the timeline is before they would, be looking at floor plans or be in the process of deciding if this is something they want to do. Do you have a sense of that?
Sure. So, in Latin America, we tend to say soon because I really don't have a definite. I would say over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks is when you'll start to see finals for floor plans and pricing. I know we're pushing our team for next week. It may happen next week. It may happen the week after. But I would say over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks is really when we anticipate having those final floor plans and pricing. And then, as mentioned, Val is working with the team here in order to get all the permits and approvals in place. And that could be another 6, 8 months until shovels are actually in the ground and final paperwork is sent over. So I just want to make sure we're setting expectations clearly that the construction is not going to start tomorrow, but we at least know that there is a lot of folks who are interested in a community like this. And here in El Salvador, it does take time to get things done, and we want to do it right. We had a meeting yesterday morning with a few of the folks here, attorneys, architects, engineers, and they went through the timeline and the process with us. And it will take time, but we want to make sure we're doing everything properly and legally and making sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's. And I think that's really a big reason why ECI has sustained, over the last 25 years, been sustainable over the last 25 years, because we're going into these countries properly. And in addition to that, working with folks like Mike Peterson and Hope Haven and getting the community involved is really an integral part in all of this. I think that sometimes people come into countries like this and areas like this, and they're the big bad developer. They want to come in, develop everything, and maybe they want to leave, maybe they want to stay, who knows? But the image that they're giving is they want to just come in, build, and leave. And so we're doing a lot of work here in the community as well to really showcase our plans and how this is all happening and unraveling. So I would say, the next 2 to 4 weeks for final floor plans and pricing, and then about 6 to 8 months until shovels are in the ground.
Okay. Yeah. Rachel, thank you. I'm actually going to give you and the team a little more breathing room. And I know it, people get excited and they want it all to happen right away. But if you could just imagine this project in California, it might be, 6, 8, 10 years from the time we would have a conversation like this to when you actually could get your keys to your home or your condominium. and years and years and years in many parts of the United States and Canada. And so, to actually have construction start in 6 months, 8 months from now, and keys delivered, in 14, 16, 18 months is actually lightning fast anywhere in the world. And you're right, Rachel, and setting those expectations is important. If we can get pricing and floor plans out to folks in the next 2-3 weeks, great. If it's 4 to 6 weeks, again, I want to make sure your team has a little bit of breathing room because things sometimes do take longer than we hope they'll take. But to have actual floor plans and pricing, 30 days, 45 days from now, I think is a realistic expectation for folks on this call to hear. If you do decide to move ahead with the reservation deposit, 30 days, 45 days from now, you'll get the floor plans, you'll get the pricing, you'll get the paperwork, the sales contract, the homeowners documents. Yes, there will be a homeowners association, and again, we make them as loose and as light as we possibly can, but they do need to exist, because if you want to have parks, if you want to have a Bitcoin community center, right, you want to have a pool, you want to have activities, you have to have something to organize it and make sure that it happens and it stays in great shape for all the folks who are owners there. So that 4 to 6 weeks, floor plans, paperwork. You'll make your decision, shovels in the ground, 8 months from now, 12 months from now, keys, 14, 16, 18 months from now, you'll be able to move into your beautiful home or condominium. So we do want to set those expectations properly. Again, we've been doing this now for 25 years. We do it right. We follow the rules, we follow the procedures, because that's the way to get things done well. And again, working with people like Mike Peterson, working with people in the community, you earn their respect by doing things the right way and making sure that what you promised you can actually deliver. And that's what we've been doing for 2.5 decades at this point. Rachel, any last thoughts on anything? And we've given Patrick and Michael Beta enough time to get down to the park. And we're going to go to them in a second, but any other thoughts on the sales or the process or the concepts at this point that you want to share?
Right. Go back to the site map, please, for a moment. I just want to mention something about the site map here. I saw a couple of questions about people asking where the ocean is in relation to all of this. The ocean is on the left-hand side of the screen. So luxury condos there at the top. And then we are on a hill. So towards the bottom part of the hill, the tiny homes, the natural pool, the earthen bed villas, that is closer to the bottom part of the property. And then there's the ocean there. We're not directly on the water, but there are the incredible water views that go across the board.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. That's it for me. So we'll continue on here.
All right. Well, let's go here. And again, a beautiful picture from another part of Costa Rica. Again, we're obviously on the beach. We're at Bitcoin Beach, and it is spectacular. But the rest of the country has some incredible natural beauty as well, and the capital city of San Salvador is fantastic as well. So let's see, Patrick and Michael Beta, we want to hear from you. I think you guys are at the park at this point.
Hey guys, thanks. I'm back here again, still at the Bitcoin Beach Gran Zonte property. Just walking in different areas, you can see some beautiful old growth forest, and which is going to be the park area around here. It's just really spectacular scenery around here. Oh hey, there's Michael Beta's coming to visit me.
Hey Patrick, how are you? Hi guys, happy to be here at El Zonte with Patrick and the team, ECI team. Truly an amazing place, amazing property, and to be part of this amazing event where we have a currency for the first time that's going to be Bitcoin, and it's just super exciting to be here, and super exciting as ECI to be part of this great venture out here, and it's truly amazing. Every home site is going to have an absolutely incredible view of the water and the ocean, as you can see.
As turn around and
Patrick pans it around here. That's behind us. The property goes right behind us all the way, almost down to the water. It's just what an exciting event. So, and on behalf of the ECI team, super excited. Mike, thanks for cluing us in up here, and back to you.
All right, talk to you guys.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I want to, before we get to Mike Peterson, though, I'd like to just share something that Val Espinosa and Andrea Martinez put together a little bit earlier. They were down at a coffee shop in El Zonte, and they made their purchases with Bitcoin, of course, because it just is so simple and easy to do that. And then when we come back, we're going to hear from Mike Peterson a little bit about how he got started and what he's doing. So let's see if we can hear from Andrea and Val.
Hi Mike, thank you. So here we are in El Garden with our friend Carla. We are going to buy some beverages because it's a very hot day. So Carla, ¿nos podría dar una frozen de piña? I'm gonna buy a frozen of pineapple and Val will be like
un frappé como el de ayer.
Está bien.
It was a really good coffee that I got yesterday. So
yes,
and we're buying with Bitcoin.
So now Carla is gonna see how much it is. And after that, we're gonna do the transaction. The transaction, we do it scanning the QR code here, so you can see. So here I put the price. ¿Cuánto es?
8.25.
8.25. You see the price here? And then I press send, and that's the check mark.
That was easy.
And that's it. We purchased our beverages right now. We're just gonna wait for Carla to prepare them. So back to you, Mike.
All right, thank you. And now what I want to do is just introduce Mike Peterson. We had Val talk with him earlier today, and Mike Peterson was the gentleman who got everything started there in El Zonte. He's nicknamed the godfather of Bitcoin in El Salvador, and rightly so. He really is the person that got this all started. And we had Val talking with him earlier. And I'm going to let him tell his story and his history of how he got started there in El Zonte. Well, maybe not. We may have to come back to Mike in just a minute. Anybody in Belize at the office there? Help us out with this.
It sounds like the video is not working, but we will make
Okay.
sure it is incorporated into the follow-up email that goes out with the recording. It's a really powerful story. And Mike, why don't you just talk a little bit more about it too?
I
Because
sure will.
Really cool.
Yeah, I sure will. So Mike Peterson is the guy there in the orange shirt next to me and between Patrick and I. And, he went to El Zonte because he wanted to surf, and the surfing was great. About 15 years ago, he got his wife to go down there a couple years later. They both loved the country. They loved the town of El Zonte. They loved the community. And one of the things that really spoke to them was the ability to make a big difference without, really, being fully committed at that point. And so they started dabbling. I would call it that. They started dabbling in some programming. They did some work in the community, and then the bug bit them, and they fell in love more and more and more. And ultimately, about 8 years ago, they moved down there almost full time with their family, a son and a daughter. And Mike's job gave him the flexibility to do that. He could work from El Salvador, and he set up the Hope House. And the real message there is that because he was there, he was obviously a Bitcoin enthusiast. he had the opportunity to serve in this community. And one of the things that he was doing was he helped support other NGOs and other organizations that were doing work in the community. And a lot of times we think about that, people come down and they do the work themselves, but Mike was supporting the people who came down to do the work, and that's really leverage at one level. Well, one of these organizations had came to Mike and said, hey, look, we have this anonymous Bitcoin donor. He's got a significant amount of Bitcoin. He'd like to make a donation to our organization, but he wants it to be used transactionally. Is that something you could do in El Zonte? And I like how Mike said, he said yes. And then he had to think about how to figure out how to do it, right? So Mike said yes. And they got this big Bitcoin donation about 3 years ago. And then they had to figure out how to actually implement it in the way that the donor had asked, which was, don't cash it in, turn it into dollars and give it away, keep it as Bitcoin. And so what Mike did is he got together, he hired some programmers, and they came up with the wallet that is the very specific wallet for the El Zonte community. And he gave about 500 families $30, $35 in Bitcoin to kick things off. And so if people would download the wallet, they got the Bitcoin, and then they got the stores and the shops and the restaurants to accept it. And so over a very short period of time, Bitcoin became very transactional in El Zonte. And then during COVID, the donor came back and made very generous donations to about 500 families on a monthly basis in Bitcoin to their wallets during the COVID crisis. Because unlike the US and Canada, where the governments printed more money and sent checks to everybody, that just simply didn't happen in El Salvador. So it even became more transactional, became more significant in the lives of the community in El Zonte. Well, the president of El Salvador, as a fairly new president and a fairly young guy, his political party is New Ideas. They saw what was happening. They saw how transformative this particular type of economic exchange was. And they came and they talked to Mike and some of the other folks that had put this together. And they said, you know what, we'd like to do this for the country of El Salvador. And Mike and some of the folks that had helped get it started in El Zonte really were instrumental in helping the government of El Salvador look at this, do the analysis, and then bring it forward as currency, which it is today. And so when they talk about Mike Peterson being the godfather of Bitcoin in El Salvador, he definitely earned that. He earned that title and deserves great accolades for what he's done for the community of El Zonte. We're just so fortunate that we've met him. He's a tremendous guy. We've spent a lot of time now together, whether it was on the phone, Zoom calls, in person. The team's down there right now, and I know they went out to dinner last night. And it's nice to work with great people, and Mike is great people, and his wife Brittany too. And I mean the synergies of the property that he owned with what happened in the community, with what we're able to bring as a development company, it truly is 1 + 1 = 3 in this case. So very exciting. I look forward to being able to share that video with you when we send out the recording, and just to sort of wrap up and I think we're going to try to see if we can get maybe Jeff and Lucy on here with us in just a second. I don't know if we're going to be able to or not with the technical issues, but Jeff and Lucy are there, and I know they'd like to share some thoughts with you guys as well. But the other thing that's happening, because a lot of people want to not just own a property in El Salvador, they want to live part-time or full-time in the country. And because of that, the government of El Salvador has opened up an incredible residency program. They're talking about a citizenship program We'll get you all the details as they become available. If this is something that you'd like to learn more about, please let us know about that, and we'll make sure you get the information as it becomes available. But again, if you want to be part of this community, and I really use the word community very specifically. I know that for many folks, I've attended Anarchapulco and Freedom Fest and many conferences over the years, and hundreds and hundreds of conferences over the years. And one of the things that truly jumps out is the fact that these conferences are communities. This is the time when people who are Bitcoiners and Bitcoin enthusiasts can get together and share their philosophies and their ideas. And no, we don't agree on everything, but you know what, we respect where we are with this, and we can really build a community of people who get it. And we don't have, we can feel a part of something. We can feel part of something very special. We as a company, ECI, we've done that. We build communities for adventurous souls. And if you're on this webinar, if you're into Bitcoin, you are clearly an adventurous soul. And finding other adventurous souls to hang out with, enjoy the company, share a drink, have a go surfing or go hike in the mountains, right? To have that community of people who get you and you get them is powerful, and it's wonderful. And that's what this is going to be. This tourism village at Gran Zonte in El Zonte really will be this community. And again, it's foundational. So this is our handbook. You can certainly request this. We'd love to send you a copy. It's very general information about the country of El Salvador. We will be updating it as we get information about the citizenship programs, the residency programs. You're going to get a lot more information from us about as the concepts get refined. We get the floor plans, and you know what? I'm going to ask our Belize team if I stop sharing for a minute, if we think we can get either Patrick or Jeff, Lucy on here with us. So I'm just going to stop the share for a minute. Maybe someone can see if we could do that.
Hey, Mike, we're back here. We're in the park area again in Gran Zonte. Guess who I ran into? Buddy Jeff Berwick is
wandering through.
You never know who you're going to find in El Salvador. What do you think
El
about
Salvador, the savior. We're actually in a town called Libertad, which means freedom.
Oh, nice.
And everyone uses Bitcoin here, so that's why I'm here.
And so what do you think of El Salvador? It's been a while since you've been in Salvador.
I sank my boat here in 2005. I had a kind of not a great experience because I was just in like the capital city, which isn't anything special. But I didn't see a place like this. I've been so impressed, actually. There's definitely things happening here. That's why I'm here. To see all the Bitcoin signs, regular people, like little girls with Bitcoin wallets, is like...
That's pretty cool. Huh?
I haven't actually seen it myself, but you guys said you've seen it. When I first see it, my heart's gonna like explode. No, there's something special going on here.
It's a pretty cool place. I mean, it's good to be here, and this is the 7th, the first day, the first time in the world that the country is doing this. I'm gonna love and look back on this and just go, wow, I was there when this happened, right?
Well, you know, I don't support any government or any legal tender laws, but they did it. And actually, we know the guys who helped make that happen, and they did it for all the right reasons, and they convinced the politician guys, whatever, to do it. But it's incredible. Like, I've been so impressed. Like, if you're a crypto guy and you believe what I believe about how important it is that the people have their own money, this place, I'm so excited, and I did not expect that. I have to be totally honest. I've been to El Salvador a few times. I sank my boat here. I didn't have the greatest of times. I didn't think it was the greatest place. Right now, there's something special going on right here. I'm not saying that to sell you. I don't care. If you're a crypto guy, come here. It's very interesting.
That is pretty cool. And don't forget the other special person here, Lucy.
Yeah, she's the star.
She's always the star.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Pretty good. You got some tacos?
Tacos and kisses from Lucy.
I got the kisses.
I got the full kiss there. All right, Mike. We're back at you. We'll talk.
All right. Well, I think I think we're at the end here. I'm glad that we were able to get Jeff and Lucy on, and of course Jeff sunk his boat in El Salvador. Why am I not surprised to hear that? Anyway, Rachel, if you've got good connectivity here, if you want to come back on and give any final thoughts, or if we want to answer some questions, I'll turn it back over to you and let you kind of guide things on out here.
I certainly do. So it sounds like we did get that video of Mike Peterson to play. What we'll do though is we'll still put it in the email. I think it's worth everybody listening to. He is known, Mike Peterson, as Mike mentioned, is known as the godfather of Bitcoin Beach. And he came to El Salvador 17, 18 years ago on a surfing trip. A year or two later, he and his wife bought a house here. We're coming down on vacation regularly and then moved here. And so he really was the person who made Bitcoin Beach happen and has been influential in getting Bitcoin here in the country. And not only is he a really forward-thinking individual, but he also has an incredible heart. And I know, Mike, you gave his story, and I would highly encourage everybody to listen to what he's doing. He's a big proponent of education. I know one of the things that they do is they bus kids in this community to a local neighborhood to go to school. I mean, just because they simply didn't have the transportation to do so. And I think somebody like that really needs to be recognized. He's so humble. In the video, you'll see Val is asking him about, being the godfather of Bitcoin Beach. And he just kind of puts his head down and shakes because, he doesn't tell people that when he's introducing himself. And, you have to ask him about, how he really got started here. So do make sure you're all watching that. And then if anybody's interested in donating to his cause, and wanting to help support his educational projects here and community projects, we'll also put in there a link for you to do that donation. I think it is worth doing. But alrighty, I'm seeing the questions here that are popping up. I just see someone said, yes, Jeff and Lucy. All right, that was awesome. All right, so Aaron is asking about travel restrictions into El Salvador in respect to COVID. So you do have to get a PCR test prior to coming. Or if you have a vaccine card, you can show the vaccine card, but you do need to have a PCR test. And masks, they say they're mandated, but I can tell you just from being here over the last few days, is they certainly have not been enforced. I think there's one restaurant we went to where they ask you to put it on, but it's certainly not enforced anywhere you go as you're walking up and down the beach or on the streets. People are not wearing masks. So fairly easy here. It's really fairly laid back too. And especially where we are in El Zonte, it's a surfing village. It's a surf town, and here it's a very laid back way of living. And it's really quite remarkable to see that these places still exist. And I was just messaging with one of our coworkers, Natalie, and I was just saying it's really like the California coastline. You have the Pacific, you have these rolling hills and incredible, multi-million-dollar views, but you don't have the price tags. And my jaw dropped when we went to the top of the property to see it. All right, I'm going to continue on with the questions here. What is the humidity today? That's from Leslie. Give me one moment and I'll check. I know when I looked yesterday, it was 59%. And for me, I was like, wow, that's great, because Belize, where I live, it's usually like 90%, 90 something percent. So I was pretty excited to see that. But I will certainly look here and I will give you an update shortly as that gets pulled up. All right, I see there were more people from all over the world here, which was really neat to see. There was Portugal, New Zealand, more people in Mexico. I mean, it's just really neat to see. I saw Thierry just sent a message there, living in the Ivory Coast now. Yes, crypto, of course. So how's the Wi-Fi there for working remotely? It is really quite good. We have a couple of places here that we rented, Airbnb places that we rented, and our jobs are done online. And I have to say the internet has really been good. Obviously, on property, we don't necessarily have the internet there at this point, but it will get better as we continue on. And of course, that is one of the features in the homes and the community is going to be internet. So, all right, so we had the humidity. Thanks for pulling it up, Val. 73% today. So it's a little bit more humid today than it was yesterday, but it really has been quite pleasant. Costs. I'm seeing a lot of questions here about costs. Starting costs for the tiny homes or the condos. Oh, gosh, guys, I mean, it'll definitely be below 200,000. But I just don't have those figures yet. Stay tuned. If you have a project that you're interested in specifically, do let us know, and we can make sure that you get that information as soon as it comes out. I just don't want to give you guys numbers that is completely off, and then we come back to you in a couple of weeks and say, sorry, we lowballed it, and the homes are actually 400,000. Not that they would be, but I just want to make sure we're giving you more accurate information. All right, so what is this from Tony? If we want to visit an ECI development property, that is what you would envision in El Zonte, what would be a good one to go to before visiting El Zonte? I have to say, Tony, we really don't have a property like this. I think the town, the feel of the town and the feel of the country is very similar to Nicaragua. It's tropical, especially these beaches here. They're the Pacific beaches, so very similar beaches in a sense to Nicaragua, the San Juan del Sur area. But what a lot of, where we're at in Nicaragua, it's fairly flat, which is great for people who don't like hills. But here it's just it's a hill. I mean, the property is on a hill, so it's really hard to compare what it would be. It's fairly different, I would say, all across the board. But just come on down to El Salvador. I think that's the best thing to do. Come here first.
But and let me just jump in on that. If you wanted to see what I would just call proof of concept, you wanted to say, hey, look, these guys say they've done this. They've been around for 25 years. I want to go see something they built. Grand Pacifica would be probably the one that would be most like El Zonte. I agree with Rachel from a geography standpoint. It's very different. But from taking a cattle pasture and turning it into a small town, that's what we've done at Grand Pacifica. And that's what we will be doing in El Zonte as well. So if it's kind of a due diligence trip, Grand Pacifica would be the place to come. You can actually come to Nicaragua on your way to El Salvador, or vice versa, go to El Salvador and then stop in Nicaragua on your way out. Those two countries, 35-minute flight between them, very simple and easy to do. So if it's a due diligence thing, that's what I would recommend. And but definitely, Rachel's right. You want to go to El Salvador and see the topography. The community there will be built on a hillside, and it will be very different than anything we've ever done, which is why the first thing we did was get engineers to make sure we can do what we thought we could do, and we largely could. We had to make some adjustments to some of the topography, how we laid a few things out, but generally we got it right. And so come to El Zonte, check out that, and then either on your way there, on your way home, go through Grand Pacifica in Nicaragua and see what a real community that was a cattle pasture 12, 15 years ago, what that is today. You'll be mightily impressed what has occurred, and the community that's there. That's the other thing. Grand Pacifica is a community as well. People are living there full time. More and more people are moving there. Certainly retired folks, but we have many families now with children there as well. So and everything in between. So again, I think that's probably the best, closest example, Rachel, that somebody could pick from.
Perfect. And the next question I'm seeing here, how many acres is the community? It's about 44 acres. So a really good size to encompass multiple neighborhoods, because we understand not everybody is looking for the same sort of neighborhood. For some, casitas are great. For others, tiny homes are perfect. Others want condos, especially if they're not planning to live there, and it's nice to be within another community. So it just really depends on really what it is you're looking for. I did see a question about if people are going to be able to rent it. Yes, we will certainly have a rental program, and we really foresee this as being a tourism village. There are a lot of people here this week who are already here in the country because Bitcoin is legal tender. So I think tourism is really going to increase as people are seeing that the country is not what maybe they remember it being 10, 15 years ago. It is a very progressive place. The President Bukele has put a lot of emphasis on growing this place. And so it's really neat to see that. And I just have to say, I have to admit, I never had El Salvador on my radar ever. It was Nicaragua, Belize, Panama, but I think that it's really neat to see that there's a lot of growth here in the organization and just in the country generally. I mean, I think Mike mentioned this before, but it's close. It's about 45 minutes from San Salvador Airport. The road is totally paved. It's a smooth ride. And they're even doing a lot of work here on the infrastructure and the roads. And it's all just improving quite nicely. And someone was saying, how far is La Libertad Day from this area? It's about 15-20 minutes, so very close. La Libertad is really a big town that's nearby. El Zonte is a smaller town, but if you want, more of the clinics and the facilities, about 15-20 minutes away from here. All right. I'm seeing just a lot of these questions. I know, guys, that this was a fairly general webinar. We just wanted to give you the sneak peek of what we've been working towards, because there are many of you who have been expressing interest in property ownership here now that Bitcoin is legal tender. So we will get back to you, I would say, in the next few weeks with the pricing, with the availability. So you're all able to see that. And I'm seeing here more questions about the beach. From the beach, it's about, 5 minutes. So the property does not go to the beach, but you obviously have those beach and ocean views, but it's about 5 minutes to get there. So it's very, very close. All right. There's just a lot of questions, a lot of general ones. What I'm going to recommend, guys, you're going to get a copy of the recording. You'll also get the El Salvador handbook. Make sure you go through that. That has a lot of some of these general questions in here that a lot of folks are interested in. And I think that a lot of people do eventually want to, know prices. And I get it. I see a lot of these questions here. Give us pricing, give us the floor plans. And we're not trying to avoid them, but I just want to let you know that they are in works. And so if this is something that has been on your radar, then stay tuned over the next few weeks and we'll get that information over to you.
And Rachel, all of these questions that are coming in, we know who's asking them, so that one of our property consultants can make a note of that. And as soon as we have the information that somebody is specifically asking for, we will be able to respond directly to them and answer their questions. So stay tuned. Again, we wanted to be out today, and we wanted to make sure that you understood that something awesome was happening in El Salvador, and something awesome is happening with ECI and Gran Zonte. And we will answer all of your questions as soon as we have the information over the next few weeks. But Rachel, I didn't misstate, right? Each question is logged, so it can be answered specifically by one of our property consultants, correct?
Yep, exactly. As long as you're not under anonymous attendee, and I'm seeing a few people under anonymous attendees. So, for the people who are asking about cost of living under anonymous, I can't give you that. Homeschooling, I can't give you an answer there. I would say it's probably the same cost of living generally to Nicaragua. It is really affordable here. Yeah, Val, our Nicaraguan coworker, is here. She's nodding her head. Yes, it's very, very similar. Homeschooling is allowed. Mike Peterson, that's how his kids started out here, was through homeschooling. So there's your answers, anonymous attendee. But for everyone else, if you posted without sharing your name, we will not be able to get back to you because we don't know who you are. But what we will do is send you over the recording, send you the information, and guys, I know there are a lot of details. I'm just seeing a lot of questions come in and people wanting some more information that we have, but I promise you it's coming. Stay tuned. Over the next few weeks, we will get that information over.
All right. Well, Rachel, thank you very much for getting this all pulled together so quickly. Again, we're excited that you're excited. Everybody's excited, and the people of El Salvador are excited. So this is a big, exciting day. And I thank everybody for joining us this afternoon for the webinar. Stay tuned. There will be more information, more details. All of the information that you'll need to decide if this is something you want to do will be provided over the next few weeks. In the meantime, just stay tuned, reach out. We will keep in touch. And Rachel, any parting words?
No, but even if you're not a crypto person, don't let that stop you from coming down and visiting. In the emails, we'll send over some more photos too. It's just simply stunning. If this is something that you would like more information about, and some of you I know are prepared to put down $2,500. I just saw a message here from Max. So if you do want to be on that first right of selection list, reach out to your property consultant, Max. I'll look to see who you're working with. And we'll send over a reservation form. You just send that back. And then what we do is we timestamp it. So we see when the reservation forms are coming in. And that goes into the spreadsheet, the chart where we're tracking it. And then from there, the first 50 people will get the information after the shareholders, and the next 50, and then the next 50. So maybe why don't we, marketing team, why don't we get that information for folks too, so they have it sooner rather than later, and we'll go from there.
Yep, very good. All right. Well, again, Rachel and Val, Michael, Patrick, Jeff, go pop a cork and have a big celebration. This is a tremendous day, and I'm glad that we could all be part of it. And I want to thank everybody who joined us on the webinar for being a part of it as well. So indeed, enjoy, and we'll catch up again shortly.
All right, perfect. And I see James here said reservation form. James, I don't see your last name. I think I know which James it is, but just shoot us an email to webinar@ecidevelopment.com. We can get you those reservation forms ASAP, and we'll go from there. All right, bye everyone. Thank you so much.